Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to 6 sauces that you only encounter in the US. Now, there are, if I think about the amount of sauces that you can get, in little, sachets and stuff, there's got to be hundreds, probably even thousands. And I guess that, certain countries are going to prefer, certain kinds of sauces. But I think if I had to pick a country that would have the most different types of sauces, it'd probably be the USA, just because of the size of the country, the amount of different restaurants and fast food places there are. And I feel like the UK, we have a good amount, especially because we've got a lot of American fast food chains over here too. But yeah, I'm sure there's going to be tons of them that I've never heard of. Like this list, I've been to the US a few times, so maybe I would have heard of 1 or 2 on this list, but I doubt my hit rate's going to be over 50%. Let's find out.
That's right, mind blown. I was today years old when I discovered that it originated in Georgian Britain.
What did?
Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to sauces. One thing that I can tell you since moving to America is that Americans are absolutely obsessed with sauce. They put it on virtually everything, including sandwiches, which means you're not just licking your lips but also your fingers. And because of this national obsession, several sources have told me that several sources originated here in the United States. That's sources and sauces, different. Now, a quick caveat: when I say sauces, the definition in this case is quite broad. It could be a dip, it could be a condiment, it could be a salad dressing. And it's worth acknowledging before I go ahead that there are thousands of other sauces that didn't make this list, and that's simply because I haven't yet encountered them. The ones that are on this list are the ones that have entered my mouth. We're still talking about sauces. Also, bear in mind
that sounded a bit dirty, didn't it?
That the likes of ketchup and mayonnaise were not only sauces that I encountered in Britain, but devoured on a regular basis. Therefore, they didn't make the list. And so, without further ado, let's take a look at 6 sauces I only encountered after moving to America.
Fry sauce?
A few years ago, I visited the city of Boise in Idaho, where I learned a couple of things. Firstly, that locals pronounce it Boise and not Boise, and also that in the states of Idaho and Utah exists a condiment known as fry sauce. And its purpose is exactly as you'd imagine. It is for dipping fries and also onion rings.
It looks like burger sauce. Like, if any of you guys don't know what burger sauce is, I think it's ketchup mixed with mayo.
Or your finger if you've had too many tequilas. And at a work event, I was peer pressured by locals to try fry sauce. So I did, and as they looked back at me for my reaction, all I could think was that it tasted partly like ketchup and partly like mayo. And that's because it is! Somebody decided that 2 parts mayo and 1 part ketchup would make a great paint for my bedroom. But also a condiment, and I have to report, it wasn't altogether that bad. You're just not likely to find it anywhere else in America. Unlike this.
Yeah, that's burger sauce, man. I knew it. It looked very, very similar. That pinkish kind of colour. Italian dressing.
America does love its imports, so you'll be surprised to find that Italian dressing isn't one of them. Like wrestling star John Cena, it was conceived in Massachusetts and is used as a salad dressing. Only the first part of that is like John Cena. And I've sort of cheated here because this isn't really a sauce, it's more a vinaigrette. But it was the most popular dressing in the United States.
It kind of looks like a watered down version of sweet chili sauce. Yeah, or maybe like olive oil with some chili flakes in there.
Until it was usurped by an entry that's going to be on this list later. But usually Italian dressing is quite nice. Not only do you add it to the likes of a pasta salad or something like that, you can marinate meat with it, right? And it's quite sweet, a bit like another entry that we're going to get to later too. Typically, this is what it consists of. Water, vinegar or lemon juice, vegetable oil, chopped bell peppers, sugar or corn syrup, and a blend of herbs and spices. And while surprisingly this dressing was not an import, the next sauce on our list, rather surprisingly, was.
A1
When I moved to
steak
America,
sauce.
I vowed to come to terms with all of the things that I wouldn't be able to access anymore.
I wonder, could you get because Italian dressing, I've never seen it here. Like any Italian restaurant I've been to, I've never been offered it. I wonder if it's mainly Americans. Is it an American invention? Or is it actually available in Italy? I've never been to Italy, to be fair. I do need to go.
Anymore. So Yorkshire pudding, curly whirlies, and cheese rolling events in Gloucestershire. But try as I might, I found it very difficult to come to terms with the absence of one thing in particular, HP brown sauce. Until one day it was brought to my attention that
You can't get brown sauce in America. It's one of my favourite sauces. Like, usually my sandwich of choice is a baguette with 2 fried eggs, long baguette, 2 fried eggs, 4 streaks of smoky bacon, 4 sausages, and just generous amount of brown sauce. So good.
America had created its own alternative, A1 steak sauce. And so I tried it, liked it, figured I'd go ahead and buy it, and all this time I believed it to be an American equivalent of HP brown sauce. But technically, it's not. It didn't originate in Texas or California or Oklahoma, nor was it a product of the Deep South or the Northeast or the Northwest or anywhere in the United States because it came from England. That's right, mind blown, I was today years old when I discovered that it originated in Georgian Britain. In fact, the sauce on which it was based was created by a chef to King George IV. And get this, because this is amazing, the rumour is that the name A1 came about because King George, upon sampling the sauce, said this, A1! Right, he was really down with the kids at the time. And thereafter, the name stuck. Actually, that's not quite true. It started life under the label Brand & Co. It was only after a branding dispute that the name, while still under that label, was named A1. And then soon after, in the 19th century, it was marketed in North America, where it began to take off and eventually become one of North America's premium steak sauces. In Britain, its popularity was usurped by HP brown sauce, no relation to me. However, you can still get it at Tesco if you look hard enough.
I want to try it. I wonder if there's any real difference, like any sort of discernible difference between it and HP sauce, brown sauce. Because they look fairly similar. They both look the same shade of brown.
I love blue cheese, and even more than that, I love blue cheese dressing. Can't believe I never encountered this in Britain, but it could be something to do with the fact that I never used to eat salads. On the other hand, you don't just use it with salad. Blue cheese dressing is particularly good with buffalo wings, and before my British viewers get excited and think that America is populated by flying buffalo, buffalo wings are just a style of chicken wings that originated in Buffalo, New York. It's like saying Yorkshire tea or Gloucester cheese or the London suede.
I had never tried buffalo wings until about, I think it was 3 years ago, where we went to this chicken buffet place called, what was it called? It had this funny name. It was like Cluckin' something. And yeah, I tried buffalo wings for the first time. Really unique taste. I really liked it.
Either way, blue cheese dressing is arguably my favourite sauce on this list. We close out today's video with my 2 least favourite.
Ranch dressing.
Given that a 2017 survey found that 40% of Americans considered ranch to be their favourite dressing, I might be in the minority here. It's not
Absurd Bird. That was the place in London that I tried buffalo wings for the first time. Absurd Bird.
Not like ranch is terrible, it's actually alright. It's just that every time I receive it with some sort of takeout, I hold it up every time and assume with glee that it's mayonnaise. And yes, that's really how I pronounce mayonnaise, and I love mayonnaise, and when I discover that it's not mayonnaise, I go into a weird phase. But one thing you can say for ranch is that it's definitely American. And why is it called ranch? Was it discovered hanging out inside a ranch? Actually, yes. It was developed by a husband and wife at their ranch in Santa Barbara County, California. This wasn't the only item on the menu, but it quickly became popular with their customers, and soon, over the next few decades, it became popular with Americans. And ranch is absolutely everywhere, and I mean that. Thankfully, we've since redecorated. But what is ranch, I hear you asking, unless you're American? Well, ranch is often used as a dip for things like celery or fried food or ice cream cones if you're my Uncle Toby. And to give you an idea of its flavour without feeding you it through the camera, it consists of the following ingredients: buttermilk, salt, garlic, onion, mustard, herbs and spices, and often mixed into mayo, hence my confusion.
Barbecue
and
sauce.
Finally, BBQ, which to be clear is not...
Yeah, going back to ranch, I only recently tried ranch for the first time. It was at a Subway, like, because I always thought, why is it called ranch? It's such a unique name. I thought it would be like maybe have a barbecue type, taste. I was completely wrong.
not the British Broadcasting Corporation. It is barbecue, or in this case, barbecue sauce. Again, it's not that I detest barbecue sauce, it's just that I grew up expecting my meat not to be sweet, unless it was sweetmeats, which is something altogether different. And that for me is one of the overriding elements of barbecue sauce, because one of the ingredients is either sugar or molasses. Now, I do get the feeling that this is probably available in Britain, I just happen to have never had it. And I think the same is probably true of most British people, because it's just not so culturally ingrained in Britain as it is here.
Yeah, barbecue sauce, you can get it everywhere. Like, I've been eating barbecue sauce for decades, man.
This is particularly true when we're talking about the southern United States, like Texas and Oklahoma, but barbecue sauce is very much available everywhere, and at this time of year, perhaps more than any, you will see people whipping it out. Don't. And it's quite versatile. It can be used as a condiment, it can be used as a sauce, it can be used for marinating meat. Again, no. And if somebody out of the goodness of their heart makes me a barbecue burger, I'm not going to say no. Don't start sending me them in the mail. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below some other
Great video. I was surprised. I'd heard of like 3 out of the 6. So to be fair, that was only a 50% success rate. A1 steak sauce, like, never heard of it. It looks just like brown sauce. If you handed me like a tiny bowl with some brown sauce and some A1 steak sauce, they look fairly identical, but yeah, maybe the name brown sauce just probably wasn't very marketable, I guess, in America. Ranch, yeah, when I tasted it for the first time, I was shocked. It tasted nothing like I imagined it would. I just assumed, you know, if it was made in a ranch, it would have like maybe a beefy taste to it, because I guess ranches are where you can, you know, raise cows and stuff. But yeah, I'm sure there's literally hundreds of like different sauces in America that you can try. I think Chick-fil-A have a lot of sauces. To be honest, there definitely are. Chick-fil-A and Domino's in the States have like a bunch of sauces that you can't get here. And I think we have some sauces that you can't get in America. Like here in McDonald's, you can get a sauce called a sweet curry sauce, which is my favorite. I don't think you can get that in the States. If you can, try it, it's delicious. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.